Good evening, everybody. This is TITTER'S takeover of your Manchester. Belinda's away in Keswick sharpening pencils. Michelle's somewhere or other, and Hayley's down at that there London. So you're left with me tonight, but fortunately I've got a few friends come along. So welcome everybody to this week's episode of Your Manchester. Well, first up tonight, we've got two wonderful gentlemen here. Right, and you've written a piece called...
Under Three Moons.
Basically, what's it all about?
The story of two friends, but told the story by over 3 nights, but roughly 30 years apart. Mm-hmm. So it's them as teenagers growing up and then into fatherhood. So it's as much about men growing up and how they talk to each other at different points in their life.
That I can relate to, yeah. That's it.
So it's a piece about how men relate to each other and how that kind of friendship and that relationship changes over a period of time. And actually, the play explores what it is to be a man in the modern world, and but there's kind of universal themes about friendship and how we relate as human beings.
Yeah, sort of like. Yeah, go back 30 years when men were men and women were scared type attitude, as opposed to today's
it's trying
man.
To do a bit of how attitudes to men and men's attitude to maleness has changed as much as watching people grow up. So it starts off in the 90s when there is that kind of lad culture, and you see not only as these people grow up and their relationship to each other, but their relationship to what it is to be a man or a dad or a son, and just seeing how all that interacts and how you need those things, and when they get taken away, and what that does to you.
Yeah, I mean, because I can only speak personally. Yeah. The developments in my lifetime. As an example, my father would not have been at my birth. Yeah. I was at the birth of both my children. Yeah. And what a absolutely marvellous experience that 30 years earlier I'd been robbed of. And
also how you were expected to not be at the birth of your child before, and by not being allowed to do that, what that cuts you off from, and what that does to the kid whose dad is cut off from that, and how you stop those cycles, and why you might want to, and what it does to you to be, I don't want to say victim of them, but just be part of it. And so,
improvements in society.
But also how it's not a self-conscious thing. Throughout the play, you see people who aren't necessarily emotionally articulate, struggling to articulate thoughts, but that's not necessarily even what they want to say. It's this thing that they want to say is a product of what they're not saying. Yeah. And it's just how, basically how confusing and stupid it is being a bloke at most points.
Like boys don't cry. Type attitude. So you just suppress everything and screw up.
Yeah, bury that down. Yeah,
sort of thing.
Yeah, and because we're at the third day of rehearsals, and what we're finding already is that there's a lot that goes unspoken because that's sort of how men talk. You know what I mean? There's kind of there's space in between, and actually it's kind of digging down what's really going on beneath the surface rather than actually saying how they really feel.
Even it's quite interesting because it is a cast of 2 boys, 2 men and us, and some of the production team are women, and you see them in the rehearsal room listening to us going, "What are you talking about?" Oh no, this is actually how we think. I'm sorry. You realise quite how stupid it is.
Are we from Mars or Venus? Is it? One of the two, aren't we? Yeah. But it's true though, isn't it? Because I mean, when we sort of like putting the ball on the other foot, we don't necessarily understand what ladies' dilemmas are, shall we say?
Well, I think it's the one thing that I'm deeply jealous of is the way a lot of my female friends talk to their friends, and they have that connection and support that men from a very young age are encouraged not to, because you're just not. It's not the done thing, and the heart of the play is about that.
Well, you're allowed to stop hugging. You've got too old now. Shake hands. Types and all those things we're deprived of. So.
But I think, and I think that's the point, isn't it? That actually the way that society is structured, it damages all genders and in different ways. And actually the fallout from that, it doesn't help any of us. Actually, whilst things are progressing, it's still still glacial. You know,
Yeah.
it's a long way to go.
No, it's just, I mean, I'm quite fascinated because it's possibly not as fashionable to do something about the guys.
I don't know, because I think it is, again, in part of the play is how if blokes are encouraged to behave a certain way, that affects how they treat the women in their lives. And they're not separate. It's one of the really important things about, Me Too, is men being... A lot of men were just shocked. Going, I did not know about their partners, their friends, difficulties, the things they'd encountered, because men weren't talking. And none of my female friends were surprised, obviously because that's what... But they spoke to each other. And I think whilst I know what you mean, it's not fashionable, I think part of it is just getting men to talk. Is actually
opening up that
part of
conversation.
Opening up that conversation, with each other, for each other.
Absolutely.
for everyone.
For everybody. Everybody benefits. It's not just
Exactly.
the man time. So when are you on again then?
So we are at the Lowry from the 24th to 28th September, and then we're touring the North until the 2nd November.
Right, now there's a special one at 11 o'clock, I believe.
There
on the
is,
25th.
we've got a parent and baby performance.
I think that's fabulous.
11 o'clock at the library, at the Lowry on the 25th of September. That's good.
Smashing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, now, my next guest, I'm really in my element because she's from a company called BAPS, Titters and BAPS winner. Right, welcome.
Perfect combination.
Well, a marvellous combination. Right, BAPS, come on.
BAPS.
Being a little giggly schoolboy. I thought it because you were a ladies group. What does BAPS actually stand
Well, I mean,
for?
well, yes, we do have a sort of acronym. So what it stands for is Building Art, Promoting Solidarity in faith. So, yeah, I mean, it originally came from the fact that we are three women, and it was a cheeky nod to the fact that we're ladies.
It worked for me. Yeah, it got my attention. Yeah, came to see you.
It does tend to get people's attention, which is always a good thing. So,
yeah. So, what have we got on at the moment then?
Right, so yes, what we're doing is Northwest Wonders, and it's taking place on the 18th and 19th of September, Wednesday, Thursday, and then again for 2 shows on the 22nd, the Sunday. So yeah, basically what it is an evening of brand new writing, short pieces of theatre from Northern writers, and we're bringing in lots of brilliant Northern actors and directors to portray those pieces for you. And it's just a showcase of all the talent that we've got in the North that doesn't always get a platform. So.
Yeah, and long may it continue.
Yes,
I believe you've got
hopefully.
parts in there for older people as well.
We do, yeah,
It's
that is
not,
something we feel
you
quite
know,
strongly about, yeah.
No hints there, but I'm in it.
He is in it.
Yeah, for my sins. Well, it's not for my sins, for your sins. You've got me in
Absolutely
it.
not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
But
good.
yeah, so even I'm involved in it, but I don't know what's going on. Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
new, isn't it? Nothing new there. But
Yes, we've got some lovely pieces actually this year. We've got a little bit of, so we've got comedy, madcap comedy. There's a lovely piece called Big Dipper, which is like a little two-hander with 2 actors. There's The Gaffer, which is a bit of comedy with a bit of a tender touch to it as well. We've got, gosh, I'm not off the top of my head now. There's just a really nice mixture. There's a piece called Gently Drifting, a little monologue that's sort of quite introspective, but's got some comedic elements as well. So it's a really nice mix of the comedy and some kind of really quite touching writing as well. And then a bit of zaniness with your piece, which hopefully is going to get brought out and should be quite fun to watch.
well, this I'll look forward to rehearsals for. I must admit, you know.
There is a full list of all the shows, though. I've probably missed a couple on our Facebook page, and we'll be posting to Twitter and all sorts of social media stuff as well.
Right, so it's 8 plays, 8 short plays, and what, I take it 4 in the first half, 4 in the second type thing.
Yeah, they're all around about the same length. So.
And it's the Wednesday and Thursday are at the Whiskey Jar in
That's
the
the
Northern
Whiskey Jar
Quarter.
on Tariff Street. It's a bit similar to Chelsea Books, actually. It's an underground exposed brickwork, kind of a cool, quirky space, as is 2022, which is where we've got our 2 shows on the Sunday. So they're both quite urban, quite cool places, and we're always looking at new venues to explore and to work with. We used to use 53-2, actually, but obviously they've now recently moved. Loved the theatre they had, but there's exciting things coming up for them as well. But yeah, it's just been a nice opportunity to branch out and find out about what else is opening up, really, for actors.
Yeah, because, well, the scene, the Manchester scene for the Fringe Theatre is quite massive, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And
it's ever growing.
what I do like is everybody supports each other, and they're out there, and you know, it's it was just lovely to have that nice scene going on, sort
I
of
think
thing.
so, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of support, and that's really lovely. We feel like we've been embraced with open arms by so many other companies and figures in the creative scene in Manchester, so it's really nice to have had that reception, yeah.
So brilliant. So just a quick reminder, we're on when am I due into these things? So,
Not in your diary.
it's not my diary. 18th and 19th.
Yeah, 18th and 19th, and those shows are at 7:30. That's at the Whiskey Jar on TAKEOVER Street. And then we've got Sunday 22nd, we've got 2 shows. So one at 3 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. And that's at 2022 in the Northern Quarter.
And I'm not giving much away, but I do end up in my vest and underpants.
Well, you'll have to come see
Exclusive, exclusive, yeah.
it now. You said it now.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I've got to buy them yet, you know. I've got to have clean on them every night, haven't I?
Absolutely.
In case you have an accident.
Yes, and tickets are available on Eventbrite as well, but we'll be posting lots of links to be able to purchase them or on the door on the night as well.
Lovely. Well, thanks very much indeed, Sophie.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, I've been looking forward to this all evening. TITTER'S meets Titsup.
Wow.
Absolutely. So looking forward to this. Because I actually saw these ladies meet up the other week, and I was just watching through the window, and I was fascinated. And I'm so pleased that they've come along this evening to share with what they do. What exactly is Titsup?
Titsup is our show. Our show is about ourselves. It's about our experience of having and living beyond breast cancer. And we've written a series of poems, monologues, and we're social artists, really. So our objective, really, is to entertain people and to deliver serious messages about breast screening and about women taking care of the body in terms of any concerns, lumps, bumps, etc. And raise awareness for breast cancer, how it affects families and friends, which leads us into our friendship, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Both Julie and I met through a mutual friend who, when I had breast cancer, told me that Julie had had it 5 years ago. So it was really, really good for me to have somebody who'd been on the journey then to guide me on my journey, because everybody's journey is their own.
Yeah.
There's no 2 stories is the same. No breast cancer diagnosis is the same. No journey is the same. Everybody has their own individual journey. And the biggest thing I struggled with was actually when all the treatments had stopped, how do I rebuild my life? How do I go back to who I was? Because once your hair grows back and you start to put a bit of weight on and you're not going to hospitals anymore, everybody sort of thinks you're normal. And actually I did have post-traumatic stress. I did. That was absolutely doolally tap.
Well, yeah, you've lost something out of your life, and it's haven't you? I
had
suppose.
lost everything.
You didn't want it in the first place, but
No.
then you've got that.
Well, there is
Isn't
some
it?
evidence that people call it chemo brain, but actually it's like a post-traumatic stress. It's trauma. And because our friendship developed through breast cancer, we've capitalised on giving something back to other people, really.
Yeah.
Through entertaining, but also sending out a message about we were an unlikely friendship, really. When we set it off, people don't know how we are friends. We're very different.
Not a lot.
But when we get performing and when we get on that stage, we've got this chemistry where we can transmit and give over a really clear message to people. Through entertainment. We use a lot of music, don't we?
Oh, well, music's essential. I think music's really important in any form of recovery and any form of healing.
Yeah.
And Julie and I picked some really big ballads in our performance. So I start with I Will Always Love You. And people always think, what the hell? Where's this going? I will always love you, you know? And ultimately, for me, it was about, would I still be loved with no hair? Would I still be loved because I'm not going to be who I was? And would my relationship survive the journey that I was going to go down? And then Julie has a song.
Well, mine's Labicifre. Something inside so strong captivates the audience. That's when the tears usually start. But what I'm drawing on there is the emotional mess of that kind of diagnosis and how I had to find something inside me so strong to tell my sons, because they were quite young, they were teenagers, because I don't like the battle language with cancer, fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's a battle, you can win it, fight. Well, what if you lose?
Yeah.
What if you don't win?
Yeah.
And actually, what are you fighting? You can't see these cells. You know, you're pretty well when you're diagnosed. There's nothing wrong with you. People find a lump with breast cancer on screening. They're not
Yeah.
in pain.
I didn't
Yeah.
have any lump. I was perfectly well and healthy. Just come back off a cruise. Just took early redundancy and retirement and thought my life is going to be great.
Yeah.
And wham bam, went for my mammogram. And I got a
But
diagnosis.
diagnosed early as well, presumably.
Absolutely, and I think that's very important for me,
Yeah.
and one of the messages, and certainly the message for the black community and for black women. It's statistically known that, unfortunately, certain members of our community don't go and get checked, have issues around going to the doctors, and really, as a black woman, I'm really, really keen to get the message over that you might be thinking you're all right and you might put off that one appointment because you've just got to pick the kids up or you're really, really busy. Can I just say, don't put it off. Do it.
Yeah, because it's so personal, that awkwardness about
I mean, I just...
boobs and things, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, mammograms, people think are really painful. It can be painful, actually, for women who've got very small busts. But, you know, whatever your fears are, you've got to face them and go and take that opportunity to be screened. We are very lucky in this country
Yeah.
that
okay.
we get these opportunities for screening. I can go in many other countries and screening's not on the agenda. So really, if you get your chance to go to screening, you take it. Julie found a lump. There was nothing wrong with me. So we tried to get over, through the Titsup production, diagnosis, telling the children, what you need to get through.
But the other side of it is your family puts themselves on hold a bit. You are a priority during
Yeah.
everything for you. So for us in doing Titsup, one of the drivers for me was also to say to family and friends, thank you,
Yeah.
but also recognising in the performances that we did that they were struggling, but they parked up their struggles because
Yeah.
you're the priority. You know,
Yeah.
if they're being a carer, you know, one of the things I did with my youngest son was I allocated him cooking to make the meals. We watched Come Down With Me and various cookery programmes because he felt that was something he could do.
contribute, yeah.
But I knew at 15 he had a load of psychological, emotional things going on. So it was afterwards that you can sort of drive through some of that landscape and start to rebuild
Yeah.
the impact that it's had on everybody.
It does impact everybody. I think sometimes you become so focused on getting rid of going on this journey of getting rid of the cancer as much as you can. It's quite easy. I became quite selfish. I'll hold my hands up. You know, it was all about me and
Yeah.
sod anybody else, because this was going to be a journey that I would only going to be subjected to, although recognising other people were affected, and my family were fantastic. But it's your journey.
Yeah.
And the key is, there's no courses to go on, is there? You know,
No.
there's nowhere where you can go and think, oh, I've got cancer, who can show me the way and where to go? You know, it's a journey you do.
So the work you've seen us doing is working with some other women that have
Yeah.
been affected by breast
Yeah.
cancer
That's it, really
for a
important.
big event in Manchester on the 5th of October called Breast Fest that's been run to raise money for Prevent Breast Cancer in Manchester.
Great.
And the website's boob.co.uk.
Booby.
Booby. Really, because October's traditionally the month of breast cancer
Right.
nationally. Department stores, various organisations dedicate themselves that month.
Yeah.
So this event that we're doing at Manchester Central, we've
big
been working
convention
with
centre.
about 16 women affected by breast cancer to put on a different show, and we've called this one Get It Off Your Chest.
Brilliant. Quite brilliant. Well, thanks very much. It's been lovely. Absolutely lovely to listen to you
Oh,
and your
thanks very
stories. No, absolute privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, if you've enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe and press the little dingle-dangle button. I hope you've enjoyed this evening's episode in my secret location at BARPOP on Canal Street. Oops, sorry, secret's out of the bag. But next week, normal service will be resumed when the lovely Belle and Shell will be back in charge, looking after proceedings, and I'll be demoted once again to be a little slave of Belinda. Such is life. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself watching Your Manchester.